Hello everyone, Miss Kopak here. In this video, we are going to do a how-to writing scavenger hunt. There are a few things that you will need. You are going to need this worksheet that you see here. We're going to use this to record our findings for what we notice about the things in the how-to writing. There is a link for this document on the learning board and in Seesaw. So you can print that out. There's also two articles. One is called Doggone Good Looking, and the other is Peanut Butter and Honey Balls. So if you have a printer, I suggest stopping this video and printing those things out. That way you can do this activity with me as you watch the video. If you do not have a printer, that's okay. Watch the video, and then after the video is over, you will go into Seesaw and record your findings. So if you need to pause the video to get those things, do that now. All right, so you should have those documents ready to go, and we are going to get started with our how-to writing scavenger hunt. The directions up at the top, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger to see. The directions say, read and analyze the two examples of how-to writing, Peanut Butter and Honey Balls and Doggone Good Looking. Look for the following characteristics of how-to writing and record one thing you notice about each characteristic. So the chart has some things that how-to writing contains. So how-to writing might contain a title with a clear topic. It might have materials or things you need. It could have steps or directions, transition words, a numbered list or flow chart. Sequential order, that means a sequence. One thing first, you have something that happens first, then next, everything's in order. And then pictures or diagrams. So that does not mean that how-to writing must have all of those things, but how-to writing will have some of those things. It is possible that it will have all, but it might not have all. So let's start by reading those articles. So let's start with Doggone Good Looking. Let's read this one together. If you want to read it on your own, you can pause the video and read it on your own. If you want to read with me, just let it keep playing. Doggone Good Looking. Some people don't like dogs because they think they are smelly. With a few simple steps, it is easy to keep your dog looking and smelling great. First, dogs need to be washed just like you do. To keep your dog smelling great, give your dog a bath every 2 to 4 weeks. Use a gentle shampoo just for dogs. Second, you should brush your dog once each week. This will help to reduce the amount of shedding your dog does and will keep your dog's coat looking shiny and smooth. Third, many dogs have bad breath. This can be avoided if you brush your dog's teeth once a day. You can buy lots of great flavors of toothpaste that your dog will love. You can also buy a special toothbrush that goes on your finger. Fourth, dogs have claws that grow very quickly. This can become a big problem if you don't keep them clipped. You should trim your dog's claws every few weeks. You can also use a nail file to get them smooth. Have your vet show you how to do it the right way. Fifth, some dogs don't shed but have hair that grows like a human's. These types of dogs need to have their hair cut every 6 weeks. You can even hire someone to give your dog a cute, fancy haircut for about $50. Finally, you should look inside your dog's ears every once in a while to make sure they look and smell clean. When they get dirty, you can put some special drops inside and wipe them out with a washcloth. You can also have your vet show you how to do this. If you follow these simple steps, your dog will be doggone good looking and smelling good too. A clean dog is a happy dog. So it seems that article was teaching us how to keep our dogs clean and looking nice. Let's go to Peanut Butter and Honey Balls. It says, try this. Peanut butter is a favorite food in parts of Africa and the United States, and honey is a treat around the world. Try these treats for a healthy snack. Ingredients: 1/3 cup honey, 1/2 cup peanut butter, 1/2 cup powdered milk, 1 envelope of unflavored gelatin, optional. Sunflower seeds, raisins, nuts, dried cranberries, cherries, or anything else you want to add. Granola or wheat germ. With a wooden spoon, mix the first 5 ingredients together in a bowl. Roll the mixture into 2.5 centimeter or 1-inch balls with your hands. Then roll the balls in the granola or wheat germ. Eat this crunchy, sweet, sticky snack with toothpicks or your fingers. Do you know honeybees must travel to more than 2 million flowers to make just 1/2 kilogram or 1 pound of honey? So it seems this article is a recipe. It's teaching us how to make peanut butter and honey balls. So now that we've read these 2 articles, we're going to use them to do our scavenger hunt. So the first thing we need to look at is the title with a clear topic and tell what we notice about the title. So if you wanted to write about both of the articles, you could. If you just want to pick one to write about, that's fine too. So if you wanted to write about Doggone Good Looking, you would tell what you notice about this title. So I could say, well, I wouldn't say that this one is super clear. It's more creative. So it's not like a boring title like How to Clean Your Dog, but it's not super clear. It's more creative. But this one I think is very clear. You know, peanut butter and honey balls, that's exactly what you're going to make in this recipe. So I think this one is a very clear title for this recipe. So I'm going to write about that one. So I'm going to say that I noticed that the title was what the recipe was for. You could, if you notice the same thing, you can write the same thing. If you notice something different, write something different. So it was a very clear title. If you need to pause the video to give yourself more time, you can do that. The next thing we need to look for is materials or things you need. So the dog article, it didn't really give us like a list of things that we need, but it did mention some different things that we need. Like it said you need a gentle shampoo. It said about getting toothpaste and a special toothbrush. So it did mention some of those things. So maybe you want to write about those things that you noticed. If you want to write about the peanut butter and honey balls, they have a list of ingredients. So I'm going to write that down for what I noticed, that they gave an ingredients list. What did you notice about the materials you need, either for the recipe or for the dog article? If you need to pause the video, you may do that. Remember, you can always pause the video if I'm going too fast or if you need more time. So the next part of our chart, we need to look at the steps or the directions. So if I want to stay with the recipe, I can write about what I notice about the steps for making peanut butter and honey balls. If I wanted to talk about Doggone Good Looking, I could write about those steps. So, you know, maybe if I'm writing about this article, well, what do I notice about the first step? What was that first step all about? I see it starts with first. This is the one about giving your dog a bath. So I'm going to say the steps or directions. I'm going to say that the first step was giving a bath. And the second step, if we go back to it, the second step, that was about brushing. And the third step, oh, that was about brushing their teeth. So the second one was brushing the coat. This one is brushing teeth. And then the fourth step, I noticed the fourth step is about trimming their nails, or they said claws. And then the fifth step was about dogs needing a haircut. So I'll write that down next to number 5. And then they even had more than 5 steps because there was another page which I could write about that last step if I wanted to, about cleaning out their ears. So if you need more time to write down what you noticed about the steps, you can go ahead and pause the video. The next section is transition words. I noticed several transition words in the Doggone Good Looking article. Here I see first and then second. Do you see any others? What transition words do you notice in the text? I'm going to write down the ones that I noticed. Then we need to look for a numbered list or flow chart. A flow chart is kind of like a chart that will have like boxes, and there's one step and then it points to another box, and that's your second step. Kind of think like a life cycle chart like we made in science class. So I don't see any charts like that. I also don't see a list of numbers like 1, 2, 3. And on the recipe, a lot of recipes do have numbered lists, but this one doesn't. So I don't see a numbered list, and I don't see any flowcharts either. So those are things that you can use in your how-to writing, and lots of authors do use them, but these didn't. So I'm just going to write down that I did not notice any lists or flowcharts. I didn't see any in there. Then sequential order. Was the author putting the steps in order? So when I think of Doggone Good Looking, they have the process. It seems like an order. I guess maybe you could do some of these things out of order, but they put them in a certain order. And I see in the peanut butter and honey balls, they have the directions in order. You need to do the mixing first, and then you do the rolling, and then you can eat it. So everything seems to be in order. So what do you notice about the order that the author used? I'm going to say that all steps were in order. Nothing was out of order. It all made sense. And then finally, pictures or diagrams. So here I see there's peanut butter and honey, which makes sense because those are 2 of the ingredients. And there's a bee. Bees make honey. And for Doggone Good Looking, there's a picture of a dog, and that dog is very clean and happy. It looks like a good looking dog. So what do you notice about the pictures that were used? I'm going to say that there were not many pictures, but the pictures related to the topic. So the honey and peanut butter, those were ingredients. They related to the topic. And the picture of a dog, that relates to the topic. So they weren't showing some random picture that had nothing to do with the topic. All right, so we have finished this scavenger hunt. So when you go into Seesaw, if you did your scavenger hunt on paper with me, if you go to the last page, there is a spot where you can upload a photo of your work that you did on paper. If you did not do this on paper, then when you get into Seesaw, you are going to fill out the chart just like I did here on the screen. As we keep working the rest of this week, you are going to start planning your own how-to writing. So start thinking about some things that you know how to do. Toodaloo, kangaroos.